With your brother, because he was involved working with ABC Wide World of Sports, but it wasn't just ABC Wide World of Sports, because certainly somehow he ends up gaining you access to a number of well-known musical acts.
Yeah, he sure did. He started hanging around friends at the radio station in Indianapolis at that time, and I think it's still there. The radio station is Q95 FM, you know. That was like the big radio station at that time, you know, doing vinyl. Oh my gosh. So he hung out with them a lot, and so my brother would say, "Hey, we're going to go see the Kinks in concert. You want to go with me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know much of their music, but yeah, I'll go with you." So we'd go see him in concert. We had tremendous seats. And then he's like, "Well, come on, we're going backstage. We're going to meet the guy." So, you know, I'm hanging out with all of the guys in the Kinks and had them sign my album. And I got backstage passes and tickets. And, you know, then it just kind of snowballed from there, you know, seeing Paul Revere and the Raiders in concert and going backstage and getting all their autographs. And one time the radio station and I and my brother and a whole bunch of us went to go see REO in concert. This is back years ago in the 80s now. And we played basketball with REO to kill some time before the concert.
Yeah, amazing.
You know, and other people like, you know, hung out with all kinds of other rock stars, you know. I could just go off naming all kinds of people.
You know, it's fascinating. We in the vinyl community love this stuff because we like these artists, these musicians. We buy their records, and so to have the opportunity to engage them at any length, like my big claim to fame personally was I got to meet Joe Mullen from Badfinger. He was up in his hotel room. His guitar player took Sue and I up. Sue was there with me, and some other folks with him. We went up, and I was able, just 45 minutes, me and Joey Mullen talking all about the Beatles and how he was playing with George Harrison and John Lennon, and I'm asking them all what that was like. It was just fantastic. So for you to have those kind of experiences it's just incredible.
It is, yeah. I mean, to do that, I mean, I'm really shocked, but yeah, I mean, I've got most of them, you know, unless we just a last minute thing, my brother would say. But most of them, I've got pictures of me with these people. So, you know, lots of times I'll say, you know, I've got this or that. You know, my wife will be like, "I don't remember you showing that," you know, and it's like, "Well, here, I'll show you the picture." You know, it's like had lunch with Liberace at one time, you know, and I've told you about that as well. You know, having lunch with Liberace was really exciting because it was just me and 3 other people. It wasn't like a auditorium or anything like that. It was at somebody's house.
Was Liberace casually dressed, or was he sequined?
Yes, I was going to bring pictures to show you, but I kind of ran out of time this morning getting things pulled together. But he, you know, you always see him on TV, and he's got these big robes and the minks and the diamond.
Yeah, the flowery cuffs with the lace, and you know.
Wish my brother George was here, you know.
Yeah, that was the classic line.
I was disappointed. He drove up in a Cadillac. You know, I'm like, oh man, being a Rolls Royce person, I'm waiting for a Rolls Royce to show up. But no, he drove up in a Cadillac, well, actually driven by the guy who picked him up at the airport. And then he got out wearing a suit. You know, I'm thinking, oh man, what a letdown. You know, it's just a suit. But, you know, then again, I was a lot younger, but that suit probably was $30,000 suit.
Oh, absolutely. And the whole nature of the meeting was based on, was your brother doing some PR work with Liberace, or how did that all get together? Why are you having dinner with Liberace?
One of my neighbors, where I lived in the neighborhood down the street, my people, where'd that come from? I need crickets right now. One of my neighbors down the street that I knew real well, they own Starlight Theaters, which Starlight Theaters is like, folks, as you're listening, it's like the Hollywood Bowl. It's an outdoor amphitheater. And Liberace was performing at the amphitheater outside, and they owned it. So they said, "Hey, stop on over for lunch." So boom, there's Liberace, and, you know, not even police or anything because it was so private. Like I said, it was Liberace and I. And the people that own Starlight Theater, we were at their house, and Liberace's boyfriend, actually, and publicist. Yeah, that's right. Liberace's publicist, and that was it.
Oh, it's fantastic.
He showed me all of his rings, and he opened them up, and, you know,
he's famous. He was famous for having, you know, the gringo.
Yeah, and he'd show him, and I'm sitting here with a Duesenberg belt buckle, which Duesenbergs were made in America. They were cars back in the 30s. And he goes, "Oh, you like cars, do you?" And I'm sitting as next to him as you are with me,
Yes.
just talking to him. And I said, "Yeah, I'm a big car person." And he said, "Oh, what kind of cars do you like?" So he and I talked about cars for the longest time. He's very open, very friendly guy.
Wow. And what year would this have been ballpark? Again, people forget. We all forget.
81.
1981. Wow. Just after a year after we had lost John. And of course, we lose Liberace, I think 4 short years later. I think
Something like that,
1985 is the year of AIDS. I mean, with Rock Hudson, and
yeah.
I think that was 1985 was the big AIDS scare, where we started to lose some big name celebrities to AIDS at that time. So, so Liberace, clearly one of your favorite people to meet. Safe to say.
Yeah. When I sat in a bar one night with Mickey Mantle, baseball player.
Yeah, legendary Mickey Mantle.
That was him.
All kids of our generation, Mickey Mantle, a household name.
Yeah, and I enjoyed talking to him, and I wanted, I kept talking to him to say, "Hey, would you sign this for me?" It's one of the restaurants I worked at. That's why he was in there, because he was coming for the 500, which in Indianapolis, So I had him. I kept pushing. I got one of the coasters from the bar, and I said, "Here, sign this." He goes, "Oh, I'll sign a little bit." But anybody who knows Mickey Mantle, after a couple cocktails, he's almost out. So I wanted to get it before he's too drunk and can't even.
Yeah, and it would be scriggly. It wouldn't be legible.
Yeah.
Okay, so Indianapolis, that makes me think of David Letterman.
Yeah, and David Letterman was a good friend. Actually, I knew David Letterman before he even did TV. I mean, he used to be our local weatherman on TV.
Yeah.
And he lived right down the street from me and I know we don't have a lot of time, but I did stand-up comedy with David Letterman I did stand-up comedy for many, many years with David Letterman and Flip Wilson's brother. I also did stand-up comedy and was on radio morning team and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, kind of thought comedy'd be my way to go, but.
This is fascinating to me because it almost sounds like you're one of these, I'm an actor, but I'm working at the restaurant to facilitate my acting career, or in your case, stand up. Because I mean, these are real, putting yourself out there, and you're all eyes on sort of thing when you do comedy. People say it's one of the hardest things to pull off because it's such a nuanced thing to strike without offending or making it work, and it's not an easy gig at all.